The Jazz get a home win in Salt Lake against the Nets, despite an absolutely gutted roster. Many guys sit, and Isaiah Collier plays another great game, by far the best game of his young NBA career.
Jazz Smack, your source for information and analysis about the Utah Jazz and NBA basketball. Jazz Smack is a community for passionate Utah Jazz NBA fans.
I can't say enough good things about Isaiah Collier. I think that he absolutely played a fantastic game tonight. Again, he passes the ball so well, and he had several times tonight where he got into the paint and he finished with a layup. I mean, that last play where he won the game was kind of a broken play, and it should have actually been a turnover, but he was able to make it. He was able to make it, and the Jazz get a win. So be it. But overall, just another great game by him. He runs the team so much better than any other guard that the Jazz currently has on the roster. The game is so much more interesting to watch when he plays compared to when a couple of other guys try and run the show, a couple of guys who are currently sitting. So it's just a real positive. The only downer tonight with regard to Isaiah was the issue he had with Colin, where Colin won the ball and then Isaiah didn't get the ball over the half-court line in the 8 seconds, and he got called for the violation, and they lost the ball there. And then Colin just, obviously, the frustration boiled over, and he was obviously... Colin is just a very passionate guy, and it doesn't do any good for him to see the team losing. He's not going to be on the Jazz when the Jazz are really good. Eventually, the Jazz will be good again, and Isaiah and Colin Sexton isn't going to be a part of that. He'll be playing somewhere else. So for him to just go through all these losses just for the benefit of the young guys, that's not going to be his priority, and he's going to get frustrated because that hurts his value. To be on a losing team where the team just constantly loses and the priority is developing young talent, that doesn't help Colin Sexton. So I can understand his frustration tonight with Isaiah not getting the ball across half court and the turnover. So and they kind of brushed it through because I saw on the bench that Colin congratulated Isaiah for making that last second layup to actually win the game. So it seems like things were smoothed over, and hopefully there's no lasting impact of that negatively on the team, and there's not any bad blood there. It didn't look like there was. It just looked like Colin being Colin, and the guy's a very passionate individual. We all know that. So other than that, tonight was just, it was actually, the Jazz made 39% of their threes, so the threes actually went in tonight. So from that standpoint, with a couple of previous games, there weren't a whole bunch of misses that just made it really hard and difficult thing to sit through. And the play of the young guys, Isaiah, Kyle, Colin had another decent game. It's really encouraging. So obviously the Nets are in a situation where their roster is also very depleted, and they're not trying to win a lot of games at this point. I think they've pretty much thrown in the towel on the season. So both rosters are not in a good place, and the Jazz were sitting so many people. I think that they felt that if the Jazz play their entire roster, they're going to easily win that game, just because the Nets are so horrific. Their roster is in such horrific shape at this point. So Jazz tried to sit some guys and win and lose the game, as it appears, and they still won. So what do you do? And this goes on to my last point here in terms of the things to talk about right now. I mean, this whole thing with purposeful losing, I mean, I'm an advocate for it, for the Jazz losing, and that's the game that needs to be played right now, for the Jazz to try for some way their best bet of getting a top 10 player, which they desperately need, is to lose. And that's pathetic. We shouldn't all be sitting here hoping that the team you want to eventually win for them to lose. That's not a fan-friendly environment that's been cultivated over many, many years. I mean, this has been a problem for a long time. And Adam Silver has to actually address this. The teams that always lose need to actually be penalized, or else somehow it just needs to be the odds of getting these top picks just needs to be flattened out, because we just can't have a situation where you're hoping that your team loses. And I mean, we're in the first half of the season, and players are already being sat just for the purpose of losing games. I mean, how screwed up is that? I would much rather that the Jazz have an equal opportunity at the top pick, and that the Jazz are actually trying to win games. That's a much more fan-friendly experience. It's much easier to sit through those games than to know that, well, the whole purpose is we're going to lose. You know, it just has to be addressed. And Adam Silver has to address this. It's fundamentally broken. I'm going to make another video and post it on this channel and it just address this as an overall that has nothing to do with the Jazz. It's just this system that the NBA has is fundamentally broken. Adam Silver has done a horrific job. I mean, David Stern never addressed it either, but Adam Silver is worse than David Stern was, and it needs to be fixed. It can be fixed a number of different ways, but it needs to finally be addressed. We can't have this. It's just sick. It's not good for the games. Those, people to take time and money to go and attend these games and watch these games. They want to view the best product possible. They don't want to view a team that's just absolutely gutted just because, well, this guy needs to rest, so we're going to sit him. That's not the way the game used to be played. And it shouldn't be the way the game is played now. They have to fix this once and for all. But anyway, let's go on and just take a look at the box score from tonight. And overall, again, I think this was another good game because the young guys got a lot of minutes again. And Collier with 37 minutes is obviously the best game he's played. He had to sit out of some because of the hard fall he took after dunking the ball and getting fouled on the dunk and then hitting the floor hard. But still played 37 minutes and had 7 assists to 2 turnovers, 7 rebounds, 9 for 16 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, 2 for 2 from the free throw line, 23 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds. I mean, these are just absolutely awesome numbers. And the guy just is throwing some really, really good passes. And it's so nice to see. In the offseason, he must address the shooting thing with the mechanics and then fix that. But other than that, all the positive signs are there. And I truly believe that Isaiah can be the point guard for the Jazz moving forward. All indications are that he can. The only thing that he has to address is that shooting issue. But I think that can be corrected. I firmly believe that can be corrected. And his ability to get in the paint, he got in the paint several times tonight. It's just awesome. It's so imperative for point guards to be able to break the paint. And there are some guys who get drafted as point guards, and they just aren't really able to ever do that. To maximize the play of your teammates as a point guard, you got to be able to break the paint. You can't just sit there and rotate the ball around the 3-point line. That's just not going to get it done. You have to be able to break the paint. The best point guards can break the paint. So Isaiah can do that. I mean, the guy's just, he's built for that. His body is built for that. So awesome game by him. And Colin didn't have a great game shooting the ball. He got off to a really rough start. He's 1 for 6. I think at the end of the first quarter, he was 1 for 6. And so to finish after starting 1 for 6 to go 7 for 14 the rest of the way, I mean, not bad at all. And he still had 5 assists and no turnovers. And the Jazz as a team tonight, again, with Isaiah running the point, I think we're in a much better situation than with Keontae or Jordan running the point. So when those two guys, when Jordan and Keontae don't play, I think the Jazz, like tonight, they have an opportunity to reduce the turnovers. And tonight they had 25 assists to 9 turnovers, almost a 3-1 as a team. I mean, that's fantastic. That's really, really good. So 25 total assists on 40 made baskets. That's a decent percentage. It's not fantastic percentage of assists to field goals made, but it's a decent percentage. So, but the 9 turnovers is the key. They only turned it over 9 times. That's great. So another guy that I think is, again, playing really well is Filipowski. I mean, Kyle again tonight, 4 for 7 from the field, 3 for 4 on 3, 1 for 1 from the free throw line, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 12 points. I mean, those are just good numbers, good solid numbers. The 20 minutes, I'd still like him to get a few more minutes, but Sheboy played tonight too. So, and I'm actually happy that Sheboy played. So I'm a big fan of that guy. Yeah, does he have real NBA talent? I mean, that's debatable just because he's undersized and really limited NBA skills. So I don't mind that guy coming up to the Jazz and getting a few minutes with the actual NBA team rather than just being in the G League. So Kyle probably actually did lose some minutes tonight to Oscar, but I don't think that's a real negative thing. I'm happy to actually see Sheboy get some minutes. I'm a fan of that guy. I was a fan of him at Kentucky. I like his mentality. He just seems like a genuinely really good dude. So awesome. And then the other thing is obviously Drew played a lot of minutes tonight. With Walker out, Drew got big minutes. So he actually had a decent game too, with 3 blocks, 8 points, 9 rebounds, shot for 4 for 5 from the field. Solid, really solid numbers. I mean, Cody struggled tonight. Again, he's going to have a lot of ups and downs, and it's really to be expected. I don't really see that changing anytime soon. He's at this point, the dude is an inconsistent shooter at best, and he shot 6 threes and he made 1. And so 2 for 10 from the field, it's not really, he was 2 for 4 from the 2-point range, but the 1 for 6 from 3, he's going to shoot 20%, which he did. It's just life. And Bryce, obviously, he had 2 really good games prior to going out with injury and missing some time. So this is his first game back, and a little bit of rust, but he still made some some threes. So he finishes 5 for 13 from the field, but he still had 3 assists, which is nice, and he did play 27 minutes too. So it's a positive, like really positive. And Svi made 3s again tonight, and we know that Svi can make 3s. So, it's I was still hoping that the Jazz actually, I was hoping they would lose this game, because it's just really difficult to see them win games right now. I mean, we have to play the lottery odds thing. It's just unfortunate that we have the NBA set up this way, but we have to, as long as it is set up this way, that's the game we have to play. That increases the Jazz odds of getting a top 10 player, and they desperately need a top 10 player. They have to get a legitimate top 10 player. That has to be the goal. So, unfortunately, it would have been nice, actually, if Isaiah had lost that ball and the Jazz lose by 1. That would have been my preference, personally. I hate to say that because I'd much rather have the Jazz win all their games. But right now, with the situation that the Jazz are in, that just can't be the goal. They have to lose. Unfortunately, they have to lose. So I think overall, another really positive game. I'm happy with the way things went tonight. I was entertained. So, with Isaiah getting so many minutes, it's just really nice to see. It's great to see actual point guard play and not somebody inserted into the playmaking, inserted into the Jazz lineup as a playmaker for others who is really not a playmaker for others. So Isaiah getting those 37 minutes at the point guard slot, it's exactly what all Jazz fans should be cheering to see. That's exactly what we need. Oh, anyway, I think that'll probably be it for the night, and we will see you again after the next basketball game. I think that we'll probably release a recording or two not related to the actual results of a game, but just talking about some issues like the whole situation with the NBA right now, where losing is rewarded in terms of the draft lottery. This just has to change, and I'm thinking that I just need to. I hope that more people start to talk about this, that forces Adam Silver's hand at actually addressing this and changing it, because this shouldn't be the way that the NBA is structured. You shouldn't be rewarded for losing with higher draft pick. Actually, you should be penalized. That's my opinion, and I'm not going to change it, because this whole cheering your team to lose is it's really miserable. But it's the only pathway forward, the way the NBA is set up. So anyway, I think we're going to call it quits for the night, and please like, share, and subscribe if you're interested, and we will see you after the next game. Have a great night, everybody.